Antoine Stewart called. He asked me if he could come over and hang out. I said, yeah, come on. He asked if my mom was home. I said, of course, but it's cool, come on. Just call 'cause she's asleep. We had talked briefly a few times before, and I had seen him once or twice when he came home from school. When I opened the door, there stood Antoine Stewart along with another man, a very tall, about 6'4". At the time, I thought it weird that he didn't tell me he was bringing a friend, but I didn't see any harm. He probably just came home to visit with Antoine. I said, hey, come on in. We walked in and they stayed behind me. They simultaneously passed me like choreography and walked down the steps and sat on the couch. The two couches faced each other in the den. The living room light was on, and the lamps in the den were on. The TV was on a sports game. They sat on the left side of the room. I stood at the top of the stairs. Antoine asked me to come sit next to him. I came and I sat down on the couch. As soon as I sat down, the tall guy stood up at the same time and asked Antoine where could he put a condom on. At that point, I felt heat begin to boil up inside of my body. I began to shake. I had no choice. I remember my mind saying, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? I couldn't see, I couldn't inhale, and I couldn't move. And I didn't. I froze. I was paralyzed with fear. In hindsight, he never addressed me. He only asked Antoine the questions. He was asking Antoine questions like I wasn't even in the room. Antoine said, you can go in the kitchen, and pointed in that direction. I felt my eyes widen and I turned for a century as I watched him walk towards the kitchen. The laundry room, the only thing separating his preparedness for rape from my sleeping mother. Antoine waited for his friend to leave. He pulled his pants down, a condom already on. Quote, suck my dick now, hurry up. Quote, he forced my head down, squeezing the back of my neck. Quote, now get on top of my dick now. Hurry up, end quote. I felt so humiliated that he was yanking me by my arm, grabbing my waist and forcing me to get up and put me on top of him. He threatened to move. I could see his evil smile and smirk through the back of my head. I could hear him behind me. I had to be a zombie with no life. It was brief in hindsight, but felt like years at the time. I remember having to be shaken while sitting next to him. Afterwards, I heard the guy coming back in. Antoine put his right arm around my neck as I turned slowly to face the other devil. My eyes were burning and they were wide. Antoine whispered, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. He became more desperate. Tell that nigga no. Tell that nigga no. Tell him, please tell him no. I immediately felt shame because I was unable to make a sound. I just remember blankness until orders. As he entered, Antoine immediately got quiet and the evil smirk and grin came back to his face. He got up and moved across to the other couch and smirked at me. Antoine unzipped his pants and pulled out his penis and he began masturbating and smiling. I could never erase that evil grin off of his face and that easy to switch back to evil. The nameless devil sat down in the same spot on my right side and said, come on, suck my dick, let's go. He grabbed my neck and choked me with his left hand and squeezed. He took his condom off and made me suck his penis, and he squeezed my neck to force me to do a better job. I choked and I began to cry. No sound, just tears. He complained because I didn't move. Quote, you can't do better than that. Move, come on, suck it, show me what you got. I know you can give better head than this. Okay, never mind. Shit, end quote. He complained loudly. Quote, this is terrible. Let's just fuck then. Get up. Let's see what you can do on top of the dick. End quote. He moved diagonally across from me on the other couch on the right side of Antoine. He pulled out another condom and put it on. And he said, get over here and fuck me. I dreadfully pulled every bone and cell to make myself get up. Antoine bumped into me on the way to the other couch to push me to him. He moved again at the same time as me across from us again and sat down smiling, penis in hand, beginning to moan out loud and masturbate. I squatted as slow as possible. I held onto the couch. I was so scared, I dreaded the pain to come. I moved as slowly as I possibly could to the inevitable rape. Then he grabbed my waist and forced me down and said, "Ride it, let's go." The nameless devil got mad and said, "Come on, what is this? Man, she sucks." He got mad and said, "Get up." He was mad I wasn't enjoying it. Then he grabbed the remote and turned the sports game up and said, quote, "Next time you should cook us breakfast afterwards and make sure the right game is on," end quote. They quickly got up and left. All I remember is darkness. I remember it being daytime, but still no lights on in the room. My mom came in and said, "What are you doing? What are you going to do about school?" I just looked at her. She said, "Ansley, did you hear me?" I remember my mother getting very angry because this happened over the summer right after high school. She said, "You aren't just going to sit around here and do nothing. You are going to school." She made me fill out the application. I was unable to do anything for myself. She signed me up for Savannah State University. When I got there, I totally forgot about everything until I saw Antoine on campus. He played sports for them. Then the rumors about me being a whore and sleeping with the entire football and basketball team began to surface from the jealous girls on campus. In hindsight, Antoine was mad because I broke up with him for calling my mom a bitch, quote, playfully, end quote, of course, and saying he'd slapped the shit out of both of us. I called him and broke it off and thoroughly explained that I was breaking up with him because his disrespect towards me and my mother was hurting me, and I said I can't date someone who doesn't respect me or my mother. He said, "But I like you," and I said, "Antoine, I like you very much too, but I just can't continue this. It is so mean." We hung out a few times after that, so I thought this would be a normal thing, but no. Antoine stalked me on campus. He would ride up to me randomly in the backseat of another person's car and lick his lips at me. He would come down to the dance room at Savannah State and just stare inside while I was at rehearsal. He terrorized me the entire time I was at Savannah State.